Hello, my name is Carrie and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing the Oh the Places You'll Go tag, which was created by Gareth at Books, Songs, and Other Magic. I first saw this tag on Pat from Book Chat with Pat's channel, and I thought the questions were really interesting because they're a mix of questions about books and about life events. So let's go ahead and get started with the first question. The first prompt is which direction you choose. The book prompt is what's the first place you go in a bookstore? For me, I usually go to the literary fiction or the poetry section, and within those sections, I first look for staff picks because I find that often these are books that I haven't really heard of before, and I really like a lot of bookstores. They give like a little card explaining why the staff recommended it. I always find really interesting reads when I gravitate towards these sections first. And also they are my favorite genres, so it makes sense for me to go there. The life prompt is what is the biggest life decision you've made that has impacted your life? I'm gonna cheat and say two decisions here. However, they're related to each other. So the first one is when I was in university, I decided to go to Germany on an exchange program to finalize my German studies. That experience really helped perfect my German. I became fluent by the end of my time there, and it was something that helped me really connect with a part of my family's culture because my dad's family is from Germany. My grandpa immigrated to the United States. So it was a time period in my life where I felt like I was learning a lot about myself. It also gave me the confidence to live overseas on my own, and that led me to wanting to again move overseas when I finished my master's. The second time I moved overseas was for my current job, and it was a completely different experience in many ways, yet similar. I moved somewhere where I didn't know anyone, where I this time did not speak the language and had to adjust to these things. However, both I think have really shaped my character, my life experience. They've helped me mature and also experience different cultures in not only a difference from the United States, but also a very big difference from German culture to Turkish culture. Therefore, I think they've had the biggest impact on my life overall. The second group of prompts are related to too smart to go down any not so good street. The book prompt is what did you used to read that you don't read anymore? This is complicated because I do feel like my reading has drastically changed over the last decade of being a reader. However, I still often gravitate towards the same genres that I did when I started reading. I think the biggest change is that my reading used to be primarily young adult, and it's really not anymore. Now it's mostly poetry, adult literary fiction. I read also a lot less fantasy these days, so those are big shifts in my reading because young adult and fantasy used to be pretty big genres for me. The life prompt is what have you learned either as a hobby or an education that you value the most? One of the biggest things in life and hobbies is that you don't have to be the best at everything. This is something that I really struggled with when I first started university. In high school, school came very easily to me, and as I continued my academic journey, obviously education became more difficult. I really struggled my first semester of college, and I realized I needed to stop caring so much about being the absolute best, getting the perfect high scores, and just really understand what I was learning. Dig a little deeper, build critical thinking skills, and that changed how I looked at academia in general and also helped me so much in lessening the pressure that I felt in my academic journey. Also, this became a thing in hobbies. When I was younger, I didn't have a lot of hobbies related to arts and crafts because I am someone who really struggles initially with these types of hobbies. I am not good. I struggle in the beginning and I need guidance. For a long time, I was really afraid to ask for guidance, and I felt embarrassed and ashamed that I couldn't be amazing at something on the first go. Now that I'm an adult, I realize this is a part of life. And if you want to learn new things, you have to take the steps to try to learn them. You have to take time and build skills and ask for help. And there's nothing wrong with that. Learning that really changed my perspective. And now I have a lot of arts and craft hobbies that I am not amazing at, but I still really enjoy the time that I spend on them and creating things that bring me joy. The third set of prompts are related to you'll be seeing great sights. The book prompt is to pick a book with an attractive cover. For this one, I'm choosing Darling by India Knight. I just love the scene on this cover, the wildlife, and also I think it's worth noting the dust jacket is very plain, but the inside covers are also just so stunning. I love this. This is a book that I actually haven't heard many people talk about, and I was unaware of it until very recently. One of my good friends here is leaving and gifted me this book. I believe it's about a woman from a very eccentric family who is on this kind of quest to find love, and her family are causing issues with this, or she's struggling to get out of the grasp of her family. It just sounds really fun, and the friend who gave it to me said that she thought I would really like it because we've read many similar books before. So I'm excited for that one, especially with such a beautiful cover. The life prompt is, what is the most beautiful place you've visited? I think I have to say for this, the Scottish Highlands. This is somewhere I've been multiple times. I have not only been towards like the lower Highlands, but all the way up to the Isles. And every time I go there, I find something new that I love about it. The most important thing to me is the nature. It's just so beautiful and relaxing there. There are amazing opportunities to go hiking, to even just go on long walks and explore. I personally feel like I've never felt at peace going somewhere like I have when I visited there. Also, the people have been incredibly friendly. Most of the times that I've been traveling to the Scottish Highlands, I've been traveling alone, and I have found people to be incredibly talkative, generous, and really helpful in recommending things or giving me information about different things in the area. Overall, 10 out of 10, love it. Would go back in a heartbeat. The fourth pair of prompts are related to you'll be the best of the best. The book prompt is, what do you feel confident that you know a lot about with regard to books? I think I'm very good at knowing how to recommend books that actually suit people's personalities. For example, I have a close friend here. He and his wife, they do buddy reads of books sometimes, and they were reading Yellowface by R.F. Kuang. They had very different opinions on it and different feelings about how to rate it. I was pointing out to this friend that his wife may enjoy Babel by R.F. Kuang because this is really related to what she studies and has an interest in already. She ended up reading Babel and absolutely loved it. She was really surprised at how much she enjoyed the book, and also that I would recommend this because she thought, how do you even know about this book? It felt like something very suited to her personality. This is something I really excel at. I've had many friends tell me that when I recommend books to them, they're always books that they enjoy. So I think this is a special talent of being able to really think about, who is this person? What kind of stories might they enjoy? Or what do they need from a book? I guess this is my secret skill. The life prompt is, what would be your specialist subject on Mastermind? I have to be real, I hadn't heard of Mastermind before. I found out it is a British quiz show, and now I do want to watch it because I love a quiz show. I am a trivia fiend. In general, probably literature or history. If I had to be very specific, I would say maybe German literature because of what I studied in undergrad, or the end of empires and colonial projects during World War I, because this was my specialization for my history degree. So either of those, I would wipe the floor clean. The next prompts are related to accept when you don't. Book prompt is, what kinds of books do you feel that you don't relate to? This is something I've learned a lot about in reading more books within specific genres. However, across genres, I really struggle with characters that miscommunicate or that are very immature. I know this sounds like an obvious thing. This is something that frustrates many readers. I'm aware of this. However, the lack of communication or miscommunication trope in many genres, sometimes I think that they can be done well. Miscommunication is a part of life. I am not denying that this actually happens, because I do know there are people who are bad at sharing their feelings or don't know when to speak up for themselves. I think that is a real thing. However, often in books, they are in unreal circumstances. The events that are occurring, it's almost like they're purposely not saying something, and that's where I find issue, because in real life, this is not how this works. I think of a scene specifically from Beach Read by Emily Henry. This is a moment where I truly hated this character so much. There is a moment where her and another character are at this event, and someone comes in, just walks into the event, and it upsets this character so much that she literally runs away and then refuses to talk to anyone about the situation. And that is insane to me, because this is a woman in her 30s, I believe. I could be wrong, actually. I don't remember how old she was. But something like that, that is not a realistic scenario. And I hate when books, especially romance books, use this so frequently and in such problematic ways. Something I think about a lot is that, especially in the romance genre, there are many people reading romance who are learning things about different relationships. And if all of your books include miscommunication, someone might think that that's supposed to be normal in relationships. And that's actually very unhealthy. That's a very toxic thing in many relationships if someone is constantly failing to communicate. So I hate that it is incredibly prevalent within that genre. The life prompt is, what is something you've stopped doing or that you've given up on? For this, I think I have to say cross stitch. I learned how to cross stitch last year. One of my really good friends taught me. I have all the supplies for it. Last year in the winter, I became really depressed and I stopped doing a lot of hobbies that brought me joy. Cross stitch was one of those because it felt incredibly taxing. It was something I needed to focus on, something that required a lot of time because I was starting to do bigger projects. So I kind of gave up on it. It's something that I want to go back to though. And the friend that taught me how to cross stitch, she hosted these events we called Stitch and Bitch, where it was a group of us just getting together, talking about our lives and doing craft projects. Most people were doing cross stitch, but there were some others among us. I really loved those experiences and I don't want to fully give up this hobby, but it's something I find I'm struggling to go back to because even now, as we've moved farther into 2025 and I feel much better than what I was feeling in the end of 2024, I still haven't had this urge to go back to cross stitch, and trying to go back to it kind of feels anxiety inducing for me. So that's something I definitely need to work through to decide, okay, do I really want to move forward with this hobby? The next pair of prompts are related to the waiting place. The book prompt is, name a book you're excited to read that's on your TBR. On my physical TBR, I have a very limited number of books because I haven't bought really that many physical books while living here. However, I am really excited to read Open Water by Caleb Azuma Nelson. This is one I'm prioritizing for this month because I have been feeling this pull to it, so I think it is finally time to pick it up. And also Martyr by Kaveh Akbar. I am hoping to read this one this summer. It had a really big wave when it was first published, and now I'm seeing a resurgence of people reading it more frequently. So it again feels very timely to pick this one up. The life prompt is, what in general are you looking forward to the most this year? Mine is probably really personal because in August, I will be going back to the United States to see my family for the first time in 2 years. I'll get to spend about a month with my family and friends, and that's really important to me. I have missed my loved ones very much, and I recently have been feeling a lot of homesickness. I've been making a lot of foods. I've been having video calls with my family and friends more frequently, or messaging them randomly if they're not video call people and just saying, hey, I miss you. So I'm really excited for this because I think it's really starting to hit me how long I've been away. And there are so many things I'm looking forward to related to this. Not just that quality time with my friends and family, but just being in my home and also having this familiar atmosphere, going to places that I enjoy to eat or just spend time at. It's something that I really have been getting so excited about as the time has come closer. And that is the end of the pairs of prompts. There is one final question, balancing act. Talk about balancing your time between general life and putting out content on BookTube. I think I am terrible at this. I think that I'm someone who struggles to really balance work, life, and hobbies, and BookTube is definitely something suffering from that. I think I go through phases where I'm really in a creative burst and I want to make videos, and my goal in making videos is truly just to share my love of books with other people, to talk about books and make friends who want to read more books or enjoy the books that I enjoy reading as well. I am only doing this for fun, and so I think that in that way I don't feel a pressure to make videos. I just make videos when I want to share what I'm reading or I want to discuss certain books in more detail. And so I don't necessarily think it's a problem that I struggle with balancing this commitment to putting out content on BookTube and general life, because for me, this is truly a hobby and something I just want to do for fun. So I don't ever want it to feel like a pressure to do something or make something, because I think that takes the joy out of it. That concludes my answers to this tag. I would love to hear your answers in the comments down below, or if you have any comments or questions related to my answers, please share those as well. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you so much for watching. Happy reading. Bye.